Well, it's time now for our great British debate this hour, and I'm asking, do you believe the monarchy is the way forward? King Charles has been crowned alongside Queen Camilla in a historic ceremony and a momentous display of pomp and pageantry. Thousands gathered in Westminster Abbey and millions flocked to the streets, all to witness this wonderful moment. But has the coronation left a good first impression for King Charles in the eyes of the public, with Prince Harry showing up to see his father receive the crown? And are things looking up for the royal family? So, for the great British debate this hour, I'm asking, do you believe that the monarchy is the way forward? So joining me to discuss that, Peter Edwards, former editor of the Labour List, Martin Daubney, GB News contributor and former Brexit Party MEP, Reem Ibrahim, the communications officer at the Institute of Economic Affairs, and Denis MacShane, former Labour MP. Right, so I'm going to start with you, Denis MacShane. What do you think? Is the monarchy the way forward?
It's going to be there, but everybody's going to wake up on Tuesday and you have to wait 14 hours for an ambulance. You have to wait forever to get potholes filled in. You have to wait ever to see taxes reduced. All the problems of the country are back with a bang. We've had a lovely 3-day escape. We've all enjoyed it. I've been daft not to and rain on anybody's parade. I've got a few points. Look at this. Now, this is from the Sunday Mirror, but all the other papers are carrying it. It's a balcony show. And if you look at it, it's like a sort of nice event in Wiltshire with grandparents and little children. They're all white, they're all rich, they're not connected.
So what's your point?
They don't represent the rest of the country. They don't represent GB News, the Cabinet, any high street in Britain.
So what's your point now? What is your point?
My point is, I think the royal family, if it's going to survive, has to change.
Yeah, but OK, so in your family, you're white, your mum and dad are white. I mean, if you had a string of people from your family, they'd probably all be the same colour as well. I don't really think that's...
all my children are mixed race. We don't need to go into...
No, but I'm just saying that... No, but if you were to look at the fact that you're white, if we went back to the people who made you the colour you are and everything, they'd probably be the same colour. I don't think that's relevant. Martin Daubney.
Yeah, well, the rain did its best to spoil yesterday, but actually the real shower are the abolitionists, the Republicans, the socialists, the not my kingers, who tried their very best to ruin a magnificent day. Isn't it funny how they sort of have a pop at the British royal family for being white, but they never say the same thing about the Nigerian royal family, which is entirely black and always has been, the Japanese royal family, which is, guess what, entirely Japanese. It just happened to be from that demographic historically. This absurd attack on the family for being white, I think, shows the true colours of those who hate the royal family. And actually, rather than dwelling on the negatives, I think we should take solace from that and take strength from the fact that they're trying to divide us, but they didn't. It failed. It was a wonderful day. And in a time where we're not united by politics, we're not united by very much at all, I think the royal family serves a magnificent, totemic, marvellous, joyous thing, and we should unite around it.
Reem.
I don't know why race is being brought up in its entirety anyway. I think that when we're thinking about trying to argue for the monarchy and argue for these institutions, we should be arguing based on economic and constitutional grounds. I mean, we saw yesterday how wonderful the coronation really was. We saw 90 heads of state, I think it was more than 90 heads of state attend the coronation, which is huge for British soft power. Also the constitutional grounds. I mean, we're thinking about the fantastic nature that this gives British democracy. And then also the economics. I mean, the Crown Estate, the amount of money that gives the Treasury, but also just thinking about the amount of tourism that it brings in, how many people came to London and came to those local shops and spent their money in order to, whilst they were attending the coronation. So I think what we've really got to emphasise here is the value that the monarchy brings us, not just on Coronation Day, but every day.
Peter Edwards.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very baffled by some of what I heard. The royal family have never been perfect and never will be. By definition, they're from the elite, but that doesn't have to mean they're out of touch. They go to expensive schools, they live in palaces, they live a life that's very different to all of that. One can rail against that or accept it for what it is. Personally, I'm a great supporter of the royal family, and I accept it for what it is. I'd also say the royal family, just like any family, they have their ups and downs, disagreements, sometimes self-inflicted. The one difference is they're having all the disagreements, or a lot of them in public, which I don't think is wise at all. But my other point, and I love the fact the royal family, although they're political, they're above party politics. I think that's really important. And if we didn't have royal family, then we'd have a president. So would that have been President Boris Johnson or President Liz Truss or even President Tony Blair? Now, while one of those leaders I support and two others I don't, I wouldn't want to see a party political person as head of state.
And I'll let Denis MacShane come back in again, because, Denis, so do you think the monarchy is the way forward then? Because I wasn't sure what you were alluding to.
I've never had any problems with monarchies. If you look at the best governed and the fairest and most prosperous and most sensibly run countries in Europe, I would hold up the Netherlands, I'd hold up Denmark, Norway, Sweden. All of them, what do they have in common? They are monarchies. I think our monarchy is a bit different. Yes, I do regret the fact that we've got a huge feud of some sort. I agree with Peter, it's all a shame it's in the public between the two heirs, I mean, William and Harry, if you like.
He's not really an heir,
It's
is he?
work.
Not really
Well,
anymore.
I mean, OK.
Not anymore.
He's a spare, as he called himself.
He's
Yeah.
He's not an heir, he's a spare.
And he's got no hair.
That's going to continue. But it doesn't solve... I want, if you like, Peter, a head of state that helps find solutions for the incredible difficulties Britain's faced.
So
over
you're
the
happy with
years.
that?
The convening power, as it used to be called, that King Charles had?
Are you happy with King Charles being slightly political? It sounds like you're saying that. Reem, I'm going to end it with you, because you're a young person. We're all old. Yeah.
You're not old, Andy.
Thank you very much. Very sensible. Very, very wisely said, Denis. Reem, listen, you're young. Do you think that this is a good thing for a lot of young people? Because if you looked at the polling, it suggested that young people were less likely to favour the concept or notion of monarchy.
Yeah, and I think that also just thinking about the way that the coronation has impacted that. I mean, a lot of people just sort of said, a lot of young people that I spoke to said they didn't really care about the coronation. It just wasn't really relevant to their lives, and actually they would rather taxpayer money be spent somewhere else. I think that the reason why we need to win these arguments is because we need to explain to people and actually educate them so that they know actually that the royal family makes us more money than they take in taxpayer money, which is why, just from an economic perspective, they're actually worth it. But also I think it's about young people nowadays not really valuing tradition and not valuing the wonderful institutions that this country really has. So I think that we've got to be strong in arguing for those arguments rather than debating about race or other silly arguments.
Love it, Reem. Thank you very much for that. Very sensibly said. That's Reem Ibrahim. She is a communications officer with the Institute of Economic Affairs. Also Denis MacShane, former Labour MP. We've got Martin Daubney, GB News contributor and former Brexit Party MEP, and Peter Edwards, former editor of The Labour List. Fabulous. Those are their thoughts. What are yours? Email gbviews@gbnews.uk. You're with me. I'm Nana Akua. This is GB News.